I run MailleWerX.com. Right, we're gonna make some chainmail tonight, as always. I've got my bag of discarded rings here that the colors don't match. Some of them don't have any color on them at all. That happens. Or so I'm told it happens. Alright. Share this stream real quick so that people know we're alive. Share. Post. All right. So, I got my order in from the Ring Lord. Now, these are 18 gauge 7/32 rings. But, problem is, they're a decade old, right? And what happened is that the Ring Lord adjusted all their sizes so that the listed size was actually the size, right? So these are, because of when you make a coil from wire and you cut it, it has what's called spring back, and it uncoils a little bit, making the rings a little bit larger than the rod that you're using to size your rings, right? And so the rings I got in are just a little bit smaller than these ones. So I've got an idea for a workaround for that. We'll see what happens. But right now, we've got the Finnegan's Wake inlay that we need to work on. We don't need to work on it. I would like to get some work done on it. So one of the things I want to do, and I've got to order some more black rings. I have that many black rings, right? These are left over from the Raiders flag project. But I want to go through and I want to outline where each band crosses the other one to give it some more definition, and I'll outline every row. So all of this will be black, all of this row will be black. The edge here will be all black, right? And I want to outline the letters, right? Because you can kind of see the letters on camera, but even in person it's difficult to tell between where the silver ends and the gold begins. So I really want to add an outline so that it should just make them pop more, ideally. Oh, smacking the camera around. Quickly running out of room on my desk for this project. That's okay. There's a miscolored ring, there's a miscolored ring. Alright. Get rid of those before we get to work. And I don't know why I'm putting them in this bag. I will probably just toss them anyway. They're of no use to me. And I will let you know, I am beginning to be very concerned about having enough green rings to finish this inlay. Hey Barb, how you doing? I don't know if I have enough. I've contemplated ordering more, but I think it's a little early. And then, you know, we'll have another shade of green to add to the inlay. It'll be loads of fun. I think what I'm gonna do is wait until I'm out of gold and then try and order some more of this gold here. I'm doing okay. When I order the gold rings, I'll order more green rings as well, and hopefully they'll be close enough that, you know, we can mix them all up and they'll mesh together well enough to finish the inlay. Because the other two colors of gold that I have that did not match, they're just too far off, honestly, for me to feel good about using them, right? Like, I would have to take all of these gold rings out and replace them in order for me to feel better about it. And I don't particularly want to do that. That sounds like a lot of work. And this inlay is already my largest inlay to date. So I'm gonna try and pass on that option if I can. Here's the weird thing, right? Is I have this color, right? The other two quote-unquote gold orders that I put in, or yellow, I don't even remember. I'd have to look back at my receipts. They're very, very different. So even if I do order more gold rings, there's nothing saying they're gonna match, you know? It is what it is. Yeah, it would be, it's, you know, you're not redoing half the inlay, but you're redoing a lot of it. And as it is, like I was saying earlier, I want to outline everything in black to make the knotwork a little more visible, a little more defined, and to make the letters a little more defined. So that's already going to be a lot more work than just finishing up the inlay, right? But I want it to look good. I want to be happy with it. I don't want to have another piece that, okay, yeah, I made it and it sucks, right? I've got one of those. It's a European 6-in-1 galvanized steel 14 gauge 3/8 auberk I attempted while I was deployed. And I did not know enough about what I was doing. It was one of my very first projects, and I hand coiled and cut all the rings. Big part of the reason why I will never, I can't say never, it's a big part of the reason I try to avoid making my own rings, because I've done that and I don't enjoy it. So I already have that shirt, right? It's in a trunk in the shed. I don't take it out and show it to people just because, I mean, it's garbage. It stinks. The cuts are terrible. The ring quality is crappy. The whole project is crappy. So I would really like for this to be a nicely finished product, like I try to make everything. So if I have to replace all the gold, I will, but I definitely don't want to. I think if if I can get... If I can order something a little bit closer than what I have on hand right now. Vinegar wash the shirt, then blacken it. No, I'm going... just gonna melt it down. I am not interested in trying to make anything out of that shirt. I gotta put my leg up. I did work out today. I didn't do any jump rope, but my knee is still inflamed. I had it in a brace most of the day. Alright, I need to roll this up just a little bit to give myself some more room. Sell it for cheap on D-Stash? Yeah, maybe. I don't know if it's worth doing anything with. Same with TRL, Blackens Airs, oil dip, torch. Interesting. They're galvanized steel? Or they're stainless? You sold your first galvanized shirt for $100 to a friend? Yeah. This isn't even worth $100. Let me put it that way. I don't want to, I don't know, let's see here. Maybe it's a victim complex. I don't want to sell it because maybe I am masochistic and like to feel bad about having made it, so I carry it around with me every time I move, and it's my, like, trunk of shame. You're not familiar with that process? The blackening of TRL rings. Blackened steel scales from the ring are oil blackened. I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, you have 6 shirts of shame in Galvi, only 3 in bright aluminum, finally making one in stainless after 29 years, yeah. All the rest of my shirts have been in stainless, fortunately. So... and I never should have used 6-in-1 as a shirt weave, right? For edging, it's fine. And perhaps someone who is better suited to tailor a shirt can use 6-in-1 to make themselves something nice, but I very much can't. I found out. You couldn't afford that when you had money, you had a car? Yeah. I get it, man. I get it. My truck just cost me $1,000 the other day. Had the brakes done last year, and that was like $800. And then I had the transfer case fluid drained and switched out, and some shocks replaced. Drives like a new vehicle now. I've got to disconnect the battery and go through the fuse box, because I'm assuming there is a fuse that is preventing my defroster, my rear defroster, from working. But I'm just gonna suffer through it until it warms up. You gotta replace the engine in your SUV? That sucks. You're a pretty talented guy. Is that something you can do yourself, or do you gotta get a mechanic to do that? I stopped working on cars when they started adding computers to them. So the last car I worked on was a 92 Geo Metro, Uh-oh, what happened here? I think I had that car up until I joined the military in 2000. Yeah, in 2002. So the fluid draining would make a mess of your shop. You don't do engines or transmissions? Yeah, I don't blame you. Not just because I don't know how, right? Like, I understand the concept of an engine swap and dropping a transmission, you know. Okay, I could help out if someone had the knowledge. But I would have to watch a lot of YouTube videos to figure out how to do it myself. Where you weld and do hot work in there, you can't do anything that will leave residue on your floor for you to breathe when sparks and hot metal land on it. Yeah. Hey Peg, how you doing? Yup. My brother-in-law's a mechanic. If I need something done, it's 100% easier just to have him get it done at his shop. Like, he'll have his guys work on it, than it is for me to try and sit there and figure it out. It's like, I'd rather give him business than try to save a buck by doing it myself. Learning via YouTube is where it's at. I agree, 100%. I've learned a lot of stuff online, YouTube and other places, but I'm not going to attempt any kind of engine work. You know, if I needed to, I can go change my own oil, I can change my tire, I can change my battery, basic maintenance stuff, right? I can do that. I can jump a car. Okay. I can drive a couple different kinds of vehicles. But as far as like working on it and making sure it's done right, yeah, no, that's a bit above my pay grade, if we're gonna be honest with each other. You're there with your sewing your garb, get seamstress to do that. If you want a complex knife sheath, you hit up the leather workers. Not all things I enjoy as much as my passion to work metal. Your will? Yeah. Nope, division of labor is a real thing for a reason. Like, I'm a nurse. Not everybody can be a nurse because it's hard to be a nurse and be a squeamish individual or faint at the sight of blood. Neither of which I am. Right? And I say I am a nurse. And I am a nurse for now. You can duct tape with the best of them. Otherwise, you leave it to the pros. Yeah, oddly enough, you can drive a combine, but put you in the driver's seat of a car. Better stay off the sidewalks. Bodily fluids are gross. Yeah, I need a bit more than duct tape to be a nurse. Body fluids are gross. Body fluids are disgusting. Okay? They're flat out disgusting. Yeah. I as of today, I don't know how much longer I'll be a nurse. So, I've been looking at some other jobs. We'll see what happens. Especially spit. Stuff should stay in the body. Yeah. So that is spit, or phlegm rather, right? I used to work with, well, I still work with people that have trachs, right? And the suction from a trach gets collected into this big container. And that container is probably the second most disgusting thing in all of healthcare, okay? It just makes me cringe every time I see it. You spent 4 years training to do tattoo work and cross-contamination and lots of other skin issues. Not sure you want to know what the first disgusting three. It's either gonna be poop, right? That can get really gross, right? But I can tolerate that for the most part. The other thing that's made me really squeamish, or threatened to, like I didn't pass out or anything, but when people have liver failure and they get ascites, and ascites is your belly swells up because your liver's pumping your abdominal cavity full of fluid. They have to tap that and drain it in order to relieve all the pressure on your organs when you're in liver failure. And that's probably, it bothers me more than it does a suction container full of phlegm. So I'm sure everybody's first most disgusting thing is different, but that's the one that gets me. Like, I can handle blood, feces, urine, brain tissue, spinal fluid. Spinal fluid's easy. It's clear. You want to change topics? It was a really big deal. 2 kids, 2 grandkids, kind of numbed you to that one? Yeah. I kind of figured, like, everyone kind of moves past that one fairly quickly. But yeah. So, I started looking for some remote work today. Because my company accepts Medicare and Medicaid, and because the Supreme Court said that the Health and Human Services mandate for the you know what is constitutional, my company will definitely require us to get it. So I'm gonna go look for something else. I gotta renew my RN license next month, and I'm really tempted not to. So we'll see. And then I'm not too worried about it because hopefully I'll have some disability coming in, so even if I get a cut in pay, I should still be bringing in around the same amount of money. Hopefully that all goes well. That was my grand adventure today, was trying to brainstorm. I did look into an electrician apprenticeship, and I can submit an application to go learn how to become an electrician, but they don't select candidates for that until June. It's like, well, I can't wait that long without a job, so I had to figure something else out. I figure, you know, I like chilling at home. Let me find something that allows me to hang out here. I can work from my computer. We'll see what happens. I did get my exercise in today. I think I mentioned that, but instead of doing the jump rope like I've been doing, jumping rope is one of the most cardiovascular things you can do, right? I can work out for 15-20 minutes and get my heart rate up to 180 pretty easily, right? I was working out on the rowing machine today and I had a hard time, like, it was a different type of exercise than jumping rope, right? It was cardiovascular, but the rowing machine, it took a lot more effort for me to get my heart rate up for some reason. I only got it up to 140, but I was only able to do it for like 20 minutes, right? So, I don't know, it's weird. I'm not in shape, so I don't expect a whole lot. But it was just weird that I couldn't work out hard for a long period of time on the rowing machine. You're in shape, round is a shape? Yeah, me too. Me too. But I weighed in at 223. So compared to where I was at last year, I'm in a much better place. Muscles rowing are less used percentage than jump rope with balancing. Let me read that one more time. Muscles rowing are less used percentage than jump rope with balancing. Okay. I think I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm going to start, speaking of muscles, I am going to start strength training next week. That should be fun. Oh, that reminds me. I have stuff in my Amazon account I need to purchase. Alright, Barb, have a good night. Now we can really talk about the most disgusting bodily fluids in healthcare. I'm just kidding. But yeah. Like, I'm not weak, right? I have endurance. I couldn't go run, 2 miles. Maybe not even a mile. Okay, I couldn't go run that far. But if you got work to do, I can work all day. I can pick up heavy stuff. But I'm definitely out of shape, lack conditioning, and I could be a lot stronger. So hopefully exercising will help. I was at 260, 258 last year. And so going from that to where I'm at now, like, it's a start. It's not nothing. I don't want to be... I'm not going to go try and run an ultra marathon or something, right? But I would like to be able to climb my stairs without getting short of breath. Very dwarf-like natural sprinter, not long endurance runs. I'm not a natural sprinter. My run is at best a slow plod. Even when I was in high school and ran long distances, I ran them slow. One of the things about being in high school and the military running, right, was that I never learned how to do a proper warm-up. So I spent the first half the runs just warming up. And it wasn't until I realized that I was having that issue that I started doing much better on my physical fitness when I was in the military, right? I would ride my bike, you know, a couple of miles down to where we were doing our PT test. And by the time I got there, I was all warm and ready to go, and I could knock a PT test out like nothing. Ugh. Gimli's quote to Legolas when running down the orcs that stole Merry and Pippin. Oh, okay, yeah. Ugh. You can walk sometimes upwards of 2 to 3 miles, but if you see you running, you better bet there's something worse behind me. Yeah, exactly. Now, after this knee debacle, I'm like, okay, I realize that jumping rope's pretty high impact. Higher than I thought it was, that's for sure. But running is a lot high impact. So I'm a little hesitant to go run right now. And I definitely want some more conditioning work before I go attempt any running. And it's only going to be on like a track or soft grass. I have had shin splints for forever. I don't want to exacerbate them. Alright, how's that looking? That's looking pretty good. Coming along. Do we need to sharpen this? Get ready to go across. I think I really need three things, right? 4 things. I've got some kettlebells. I would like some dumbbells. Then I would like a bench, and I would like one of those inclined sit-ups, like one of those, and a pull-up bar. And I think I can fit all that in my basement here without too much problems. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That is the wrong color. I don't think those are unreasonable things that I could attain throughout the next year. You know, just get me started. Worry about like trainers and gyms and all that crap. I want the habit of exercising routinely before I put money into a gym or a trainer or whatever, right? I figure if I'm at least exercising daily, then it's worth it to go invest the money into something like that. All right. I don't know if you guys were on here early enough, but I did get the rings for the coif. They are in the tumbler right now, polishing up. They are, as I feared, just a little bit too small. Or a little bit smaller than the rings I have here. So I've got a couple of thoughts of how to creatively get around that we'll try. Half a wire thickness smaller or more visual than that? Not even half a wire. It's somewhere in between. Here. It's gonna be. It's gonna be somewhere in between 3/16 and 7/32. Of the ring sizes they were making a decade ago. Really needs to be gold. Bringing that over a little bit more. There. What I need is a ring stretcher. Just stretch those rings out just a little bit. But no, what I can do, and this is kind of irritating, but the crown of the coif, right, like the top part of the coif that we've made so far, that can be taken apart, and we'll remake the crown with the rings in the tumbler, get it to a certain point, and then re-add the old rings, right, for the mantle. I think that's probably the most ideal option. Because if we do it reverse, where we have the old rings on top and the newer, smaller ones on bottom, we're gonna get a weird pinching when we add the smaller rings that I don't necessarily want to see. So, shouldn't have bought more rings, should have just turned it into a dice bag and called it a day. But, you know. I have other rings I could have made quoits out of. It's fine. Now I can, you know, I want to get done with all these rings down here, get them used up, get them put into projects, and be done with them. I want to be able to order all the rings I need for a project, and then have them be the correct rings. You toss most projects that fall into a bin versus reworking rings and marring them again. Too much work to rework. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not worth it. But, I don't know. I'm not doing anything else. Like everything else, I'm just, you know, trying to make it work as best as possible and make it as best I can. You make 4 rings in time to rework once, rather go that route. Just stainless steel, not A or tie or some special. After ordering, wait 3 weeks. If that was the case, you would use them still. You hate tearing stuff apart. I do too, but it's really just the seams on this. I'm not worried about it. It won't take very much work. Most of it will stay in one piece. I mean, I hate tearing stuff apart too, but there's been a ton of stuff that's on this stream that has been worked and reworked. So, and it was always worth reworking it in the end. For me. May not be to someone else. I got a pile of stuff that needs to be reworked. Have other things added to it, you know, so. Why I'm down here. Satisfaction versus worth, I think, is being fuzzied on definitions. Yeah. Trash is another's treasure. Something like that. Preferences. make mail for satisfaction, and if it was worth it, you would have gone poor and quit. Yeah. Well, I'm already poor, so and I've already got all these rings laying down here, so I'm sitting around doing nothing. Might as well do something with them. I was thinking about what the next inlay I wanted to do would be. I'm going to use 18 gauge 5/32 rings. And I'm going to map out the whole thing first, and I'm going to know how many rings I need and what colors they need to be. You like to make new forms for the challenge? Nice. And I'm going to try and do all the prep work and extensively plan all my new projects when I get a chance to start new projects again. So my goal is to become very precise, I think, is the word I'm going for. Because, you know, I am freehanding this. This is all guesswork, right? I don't know if it's going to be good. Actually, I need to make this gold. My curve is too steep. So, I would love to have an inlay where I already knew where all the rings go and what color they were supposed to be. Trying to make these glow-in-the-dark BBs fit in a candy cane cord chain. Nice. Let go. You used Excel in the past to map out inlays? Yeah. I think people do that. It's not a bad idea. And that way I can have everything figured out and get, you know, order the right number of rings and not question whether or not I have enough. Because at no point in my mind did I think that, oh, I'm gonna run out of green rings. You know? And then today, I was working on this section over here. Right? So we did the apostrophe last night, and then this was all not here. So I added this section today. Because I realized that if I'm ever gonna finish this, it's going to need to be worked on outside of stream. And I was working on that, and I was realizing how many green rings I was using up. And I have 2.5 bins left, right, for this whole inlay, and this inlay is huge. We're not even close. We're a third of the way done, maybe. Okay. There's a long way to go. It's like, ah, crap. But better to figure that out now than running out of rings. Good. Alright. This weather's got me looking for a freaking hot springs. I grew up in Idaho, and we had 2 different hot springs, one in Idaho City and one in Givens, Idaho, I think it is. We go up there, spend the day in the hot springs, just soaking it all in. And then we'd all pass out, all the kids would pass out on the way back home. So I went looking, I was like, okay, you know, some hot springs would be great, right? Are there any around here? Nope, there are no hot springs in this area near Wisconsin at all. No geothermal, nothing. I was a little bit disappointed. Just means that I need to make a point next year to go home to Idaho. Go to the hot springs. Got the wrong geography for hot springs, but no earthquakes, so bonus. Yeah, I guess, you know, I guess. I need one more gold ring on this side. We get earthquakes in Idaho, but they've always been very insignificant. I can remember one, not that I felt it, right, but I saw the aftermath, and that was it. Alright, I think that actually came out pretty good, all things considered. Couple rows of green across the top. Oh, there we go. They already work on this inlay for 2 nights, and I've got 2 significant pieces to finish the top third of this done. Right? If I just sit down here and make myself work, this shit'll get done. I did have a lady request one of my bracelets. She mixes e-juice for vaping products. And she just had to change shops. She's in a kind of obscure location now, but she seems upbeat about it. With the way, I don't know if you guys vape or anything, but you can no longer send vaping products through the mail. As far as juices go, right? I'm pretty sure that tanks, coils, devices, right? I'm pretty sure you can't send any of those either. And I know you can't send juice through the mail anymore. So I know a lot of independent juice makers that are just being devastated right now. So I'm hoping she stays open in her new location. I definitely prefer vaping to smoking. That's how you make so many rings, you work. You can see when you have dicked off versus kept up to the pace. Yeah. Nice. You learned to mix your own vape liquids quite a number of years ago. You stockpiled enough Nick base to last you probably the rest of your days. Nice. Once again, it comes down to that division of labor thing, right? I'd love to have the knowledge to do it myself, but, right, if somebody else knows and they can sell it to me for a price I'm willing to purchase it at, I'd rather just have them do it. Just so that I can use my time in different ways that I feel are more valuable to me. Like screwing around. Or making chainmail. Or playing with my kid. Issue lies in the illegal folks messing it all up, mailing it, then it's liquid being mailed, and they don't like ensuring that with lovely, careful drivers and package handlers. Was that, I mean, that may have been an issue, but the government has been going after the vaping industry since it was created for any and every reason. Like, that's not something that's hard to crack down on. You know? Yeah, you felt that way for a long time too, but you can see the writing on the wall. Our government goes with vaping, so you plan for vape-ageddon? Yeah. Yep. Which, it's one more nail in the wall of epic stupidity that is our government. That way being the division of... Oh, yeah. You mean you'd rather know how to make it yourself? Yeah. No, I get you. I mean... I'm not big into preparing for worst case apocalyptic scenarios, right? So if the world collapses, don't come to my house because there ain't shit here prepared for the future. Okay? I'm just gonna die in the first few waves of the zombie apocalypse. Like, I don't want to try and survive through something like that, you know? Have metal horse will travel would be your best bet. You mean a bicycle? It's like if you have a suit of armor, a decent suit of armor that you can wear, right? Access to water so you don't dehydrate, okay? And a bicycle and a melee weapon of some kind, okay? You could probably survive a decent amount of time in a zombie apocalypse. Bicycles are quiet, they make travel real. They're easy to fix, right? Hopping on your motorbike and going to friends. Yeah. I actually want to go for a ride. It's too cold out. I've got 2 more months till I can go riding again at a minimum. Started vaping in 2008, just before the FDA started hammering vaping imports as unregulated drug delivery devices. You've always had the DIY and worst case mentality? Yeah. When I first started, I instead of buying coils, I remade all the coils, right, with the wire and the cotton. And you don't like the nicotine, but you do vape. Do you vape nicotine-free juices then? Is that... When the first like vape pens with, it was a battery and a tank and a coil came out, I remade coils for the longest time. Then I graduated. Mosley, yeah. That's the one thing that, like, I'm down to 3 milligrams per, or 3 milligrams of nic per milliliter, right? And the way the 0 milligram nicotine fits, it doesn't feel the way I need it to. Yep, you do the recoiling of your atomizer heads too, and you titrate your nicotine down to 1.5 milligrams per ml. Nice. I should probably invest in atomizer heads that can be recoiled. The Nautilus Aspire ones that I use now with the bottom vertical coils, those you can't tear apart and rebuild. But I love them so much. It took me quite a while to find something that I enjoy is the Nautilus series. I'm hesitant to buy new anything. Atomizers are old school, one of the earliest styles of K-Fun tanks. Nice. I think I'm on my third or fourth Nautilus tank, different versions, and I think I've had this one the longest. Oh, excuse me. I usually break my devices in like a year, so I should invest in like secondary devices, grab a couple, and when I break the one I'm using, go buy a new one and keep the replacements, you know, on hand just in case. Just in case we have global economic collapse. What am I saying? Just in case. When we have global economic collapse, I really should start prepping more. All right, okay. Pack this up and flip this around for you. Gotta get these rings out of the way first because I don't have the room. Come on. Easily. Alright. So this section up here, up top, is where we were just working. Right? It goes with that portion, or that portion right there. What do you think? Is it close? Oh, you can't even see it at that point. There. I think it looks pretty close-ish. I'm happy with how it looks. Probably could have made it a little bit lower. This doesn't go quite as high as this one does. But that's okay. Oh, excuse me. All right. Not too bad for having free-handed it, you know what I mean? All right. Roll this up. You'd say it's close? Okay, close is good enough for me. The original design is just kind of this loop, kind of a modern Celtic knot looking thing. It's not that like there's any structure, specific rules to it or anything, you know. So as long as it's close and somewhat resembles the picture, I'm pretty happy with that. So, all right. Well, it is 10 o'clock. I've got to go to bed. Last day of work tomorrow. And then the weekend. And I don't think I have Monday off. I know a lot of people get Martin Luther King Day off, but I don't believe I do. So, just a 2-day weekend for me. Thank you everyone for hanging out. I do appreciate you being here and all your likes, comments, and shares. Please continue to come back and hang out with me. You're all very awesome people, and I do appreciate it. Be sure to check out MailleWerX.com for all your chainmail themed apparel and accessory needs. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right? You guys all have a wonderful evening. Bye.